Hello. Today you are going to create this geode design. All right, so we are talking about unity today, and one way that you can create unity is by repeating shapes over and over again, kind of like rhythm. So our geodes are repeated over and over again, and then we also have these black and white designs that are similar in shape repeated on the page, creating a sense of unity. All right, so let's get started. All right, so for our geodes, the first thing that we want to do is to draw some oval shapes on the paper. Some of them are going to be kind of going off of the paper a little bit like that. And since this is sort of like the focus of our artwork, we want to make these the biggest. All right, so I think that's probably enough. The next thing we're going to do is outline them with a Sharpie or a black marker if you have it. If you don't have that, you can use a black crayon. In the end, there's some gold paint that goes around the outside edge, or even like a gold Sharpie marker, but if you don't have that, you can just leave it off. It doesn't matter. I'm going to make this kind of a thick line, so I'm going to go over it twice. So we're going to be using watercolor on this. I will also show you how you can use a marker to make like watercolor. Okay, now with watercolors or with markers, we are going to paint the insides of these geodes. All right, so I'm going to start with some paint. Let's see, I think I will do this color first. So we're just going to kind of go around in concentric circles. And the watercolors can bleed together. It's going to create a cool effect if we add a little bit of salt at the end. You want to wait till it's a little bit, it needs to be wet still, but let it dry for a little bit before you add the salt. And then once the artwork is completely dry, you can brush the salt off. So if you ever have looked at a real geode, they have kind of like these concentric circle patterns inside of them. I think I'll go for some yellow. So you're supposed to pick like two or three colors that are similar. So I would say like warm or cool. Now I'll try this other pink. And a little red in the center. Okay. So another way you can do it is by using markers. So I've got 3 markers that are kind of similar colors, and I'm just going to start by doing the same thing, kind of coloring around the outside. If you use a permanent marker, this won't work. So like Sharpies, those kind of markers do not work. But any like Crayola, stuff like that, water-based markers will work. All right, and then you just add a little bit of water over the top of it, and it kind of creates like a watercolor. This looks more pink than purple. I thought it was a purple. Oh well. So this is more of a warm color, but that's okay. The cap looks super purple, but I guess it's not. I think I'll do green next. You don't have to be super perfect with this because we're gonna add the water to it. Isn't that cool? And I'll add some blue to the center. And that's how you can do it with a marker. I like both of them just as well. I have another set of markers, so maybe I'll do another one with markers. All right, so this is dried completely. And then I brushed the salt off, but I thought it needs some more little of those circular patterns in there. So I just went over all of this with marker, and then I'm just gonna take a paintbrush and get it wet again and just try to turn them into watercolor, but I wanna kind of try to keep some of those lines there. This is just like kind of how the example looked. This was just a picture that I found, probably on Pinterest, that I wanted to use, but I didn't really have the lesson plan for it, so I didn't know exactly how they did it. So I'm making up my own way. So just a little bit of water just to give it a cool effect. I thought the salt would do a little bit more, but on mine, it did a little bit. On this one, it was kind of cool. All right, so I think that's pretty good. I just wanted to loosen them up a little bit with some water. Oops, I got some green or something on there. All right, so I like that a little bit better. So now, you should probably let this dry before you go on, but I am just going to move on to the next step. So for the next step, we're creating unity here by repeating shapes over and over again. Now we're going to make some more similar shapes to this inside of our empty white space, and then we're going to create some patterns inside of them. So a pattern is a line or a shape that you're going to repeat over and over again. I just am looking for the example here. All right, so I'm going to start. I don't even need a pencil. If you want to start with pencil, you can, but I am going to start just by creating some sort of organic oval shapes. Some of them, if you look at the example, look a little bit wavier, and you can do them like that as well. So we're going to fill up our space with some of these shapes. They can go off the page and stay on the page. This one might be close enough. All right. Now what you want to do is create some different patterns. Look at the example inside of each of these shapes. Try to create a variety of them and try to make them nice and neat, like really be thoughtful about your pattern. Don't just make a couple marks and try to hurry up and quickly get it done. This is really a relaxing exercise when you do something like this. They're like Zen tangles, which means like it's a calming activity for your brain. And you can definitely just make up a pattern like I am, but notice I'm using the same sort of thing. I'm doing these lines, a curve, and then I'm just tracing around it over and over again. So there's my first design. And then you're just going to keep repeating. I will put this on fast forward and creating a bunch of different designs. So here is the finished product. You can tell I put gold around each of my geodes. I used this Krylon 18 karat gold leafing pen. You do not need to use gold on yours, especially if you don't have any. If you do, go ahead and add it, but I don't think it makes a difference. They still look so cool. I just love the watercolor effect of these geodes. Notice how it's created all kinds of unity by repeating shapes, similar shapes over and over again on your paper. It creates a sense of unity. So I cannot wait to see how yours turn out. Bye!